Shalom and good evening. I am Jonathan Hessen, and this is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. Israel facilitates transfer of humanitarian aid into Gaza as it aims to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinian population. The U.S. acknowledges that the IDF's new military operation in Gaza is helping in the negotiations for the release of hostages. The Islamic Republic of Iran dubs Washington's top nuclear negotiator as detached from reality. The IDF is intensifying its operational activities throughout the Gaza Strip as part of Operation Gideon's Chariot, while in tandem, Israel is working to deliver limited amounts of humanitarian aid to the non-combatant population of the territory in efforts to avert prospects of starvation. Facing criticism from domestic right-wing factions, criticizing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of his decision to provide the Gaza Strip with humanitarian aid, the Israeli leader released a statement explaining his decision.
מתחילת המלחמה אמרנו שכדי להשלים את הניצחון, להכריע את החמאס ולשחרר את כל חטופינו, שתי משימות שמשולבות זו בזו, יש תנאי אחד הכרחי. אסור לנו להגיע למצב של רעב, גם מבחינה עניינית, גם מבחינה מדינית. פשוט לא יתמכו בנו, לא נוכל להשלים את משימת הניצחון. ולכן החלטנו לתת סיוע מינימלי תוך כדי המלחמה, וכמובן שהתקדמנו בצורה הזאת, וגילינו כמובן שהחמאס בוזז חלק מהסיוע הזה. ולכן עצרנו את הסיוע ההומניטרי. ויחד עם ידידינו האמריקנים, החלטנו לעשות שיטה אחרת. השיטה היא נקודות חלוקה שמאובטחות על ידי צה"ל, מונעות את הגישה של החמאס ומאפשרות לחברות אמריקניות לחלק את הסיוע של המזון והתרופות לאוכלוסייה. זה לוקח זמן. אנחנו הולכים להקים את הנקודות הראשונות עוד כמה ימים ולהוסיף אותם בהמשך. בסוף להגיע למצב שיש לנו אזור שנשלט כולו על ידי צה"ל, וכל האוכלוסייה האזרחית של עזה יכולה להגיע לשם ולקבל את הסיוע כשהחמאס לא מקבל כלום. זה חלק מהכרעת החמאס במקביל ללחץ הצבאי האדיר, הכניסה המסיבית שלנו, בעצם להשתלט על כל עזה ולהוריד את החמאס מכל היכולת לבזוז סיוע הומניטרי. זו תוכנית המלחמה והניצחון.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu further defended the move, explaining that shortages in basic goods, including infant formula, had become severe throughout the Hamas-plagued Gaza Strip, and therefore, Jerusalem decided to consent to a request by its American ally.
עכשיו התעוררה בעיה, כי אנחנו מתקרבים במהירות לקו האדום, למצב שאנחנו יכולים לאבד שליטה, ואז הכל מתפורר. הידידים הכי טובים שלנו בעולם, סנטורים שאני מכיר כתומכי ישראל נלהבים, ללא סייג, שאני מכיר אותם עשרות שנים, באים אליי ואומרים לי כך, אנחנו נותנים לכם את כל הסיוע להשלמת הניצחון. נשק, תמיכה במהלכים שלכם לחסל את החמאס, הגנה במועצת הביטחון. דבר אחד אנחנו לא יכולים לעמוד בו. אנחנו לא יכולים לקבל תמונות של ערבה המונית, בזה אנחנו לא עומדים. לא נוכל לתמוך בכם. ולכן כדי להשיג את הניצחון, אנחנו חייבים איכשהו לפתור את הבעיה. עד שנקים את הנקודות הללו, ועד שנבנה את האזור הסטרילי, בשליטת צה"ל לחלוקה של מזון ותרופות, אנחנו צריכים לתת איזה גישור מינימלי, בסיסי, כדי שלא יהיה רעב. זה המצב שבו אנחנו נמצאים. קיווינו לגמור את הכל בזמן, אבל אנחנו יודעים שאנחנו מתקרבים כרגע לנקודה המסוכנת הזאת שאנחנו לא רוצים להגיע אליה. ולכן צריך לקבל החלטות קשות, לא פשוטות, לאפשר את השלמת הניצחון בתהליך ההדרגתי הזה. זה לא יהיה מושלם, אני כבר אומר לכם, אבל זה יצליח.
Israeli Foreign Minister Director General Eden Bartal announced that the first installment of humanitarian aid had been delivered, with additional shipments expected in the near future.
Today, Israel is facilitating the entry of trucks with baby food into Gaza. In the coming days, Israel will facilitate the entry of dozens of aid trucks. Its conclusion, the bottom line is clear. Israel always complies with international law and with its obligations and statements. Everyone in the international community should take a decision which side he is on Israel's side or on the Hamas side.
The Foreign Ministry's Director General further emphasized that the current aid is meant to serve as a temporary solution until a U.S.-backed mechanism designed to prevent Hamas from intercepting supplies is fully operational. Meanwhile, at the United Nations, Secretary General Antonio Guterres' spokesman, Stefan Dujarric, welcomed Israel's resumption of aid distribution to the Gaza Strip, but stressed that far more assistance is needed. When questioned about the new U.S. aid distribution plan, the UN spokesman voiced outrage, insisting that its method, which delivered to both civilians and Hamas terrorists, was working just fine, and that the U.S. intentions to partner with the UN were uncalled for.
We don't need another partner. We don't need a newly minted humanitarian partner to tell us how to do our work in Gaza. There is a system which has worked, and it has worked successfully. What we need in Gaza is what the Secretary General has been called for, a ceasefire, right? Until we get that ceasefire, we need to get humanitarian aid in. We need to get the hostages out. We understand there are discussions going on with the help of the mediators, with the help of the U.S., the help of Qatar, the help of Egypt, to get Israel and Hamas to agree. We need that to happen. In the meantime, we will continue to do our work proudly under very, very difficult circumstances.
Meanwhile, the governments of the United Kingdom, France, and Canada issued a joint statement condemning Israel's decision to ratchet up military pressure against the Islamist Hamas and demanded that Israel cease fire immediately and reinvigorate delivery of aid through the United Nations.
Let me separately address the question of Gaza, because it is a really serious, unacceptable, intolerable situation. And that's why we are working intensely to coordinate with other leaders how we respond to this, because it is intolerable, it is unacceptable, and we will continue to work in that way.
The joint British, French, and Canadian declaration essentially relayed a warning. If Israel refuses to comply with their demands, they will take further action, including targeted sanctions against Jerusalem. Meanwhile, in New York, U.S. Special Envoy for Hostage Response Adam Bowler was asked about the state of U.S.-led negotiations, which are taking place in both Qatar and Egypt.
I do think we're closer than we ever were, and part of that is because of movement that the IDF and Israel did on the ground. And so that it strengthens our hand.
So as opposed to France, the UK, and what was the other country? Canada, who criticized Israel today for the ground operation, the United States supports it?
The United States has always been a fervent supporter of Israel.
That's true.
And I think we always think about how you balance various aspects. But if I were a European country, I'd be particularly sensitive to how I criticize Israel.
In other news, U.S. envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, reiterated President Donald Trump's unequivocal red line vis-a-vis Iran's nuclear program.
Well, the president has been very clear. He wants to solve this conflict diplomatically and with dialogue. And he's given all the signals. He's directly sent letters to the supreme leader. I have been dispatched to deliver that message as well, and I've delivered it. But on the other hand, we have one very, very clear red line, and that is enrichment. We cannot allow even 1% of an enrichment capability. We've delivered a proposal to the Iranians that we think addresses some of this without disrespecting them, and so that's important. We want to get to a solution here, and we think that we will be able to. But everything begins from our standpoint, John, with a deal that does not include enrichment. We cannot have that, because enrichment enables weaponization, and we will not allow a bomb to get here. But short of that, there are all kinds of ways for us to achieve our goals in this negotiation. We think that we will be meeting sometime this week in Europe. And we hope that it will lead to some real positivity, and that's where we are, sir.
Responding to the American envoy's remarks, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi accused Witkoff of being detached from reality.
غنی‌سازی در ایران ادامه پیدا می‌کنه. اگر که علاقه‌مند هستن که اطمینان حاصل بشه که سلاح هسته‌ای تولید میشه، ما برای این کار کاملا آمادگی داریم. ولی این درخواست‌های غیرواقعی داشته باشن طبیعی هست.
It is important to highlight that Iranian officials are voicing strong opposition over President Trump's recent visit to the Gulf, during the course of which he explicitly re-emphasized that the Ayatollah regime needs to decide whether it chooses diplomacy or war over Washington's requirement for Iran to dismantle its nuclear weapons program.
تصور کنند اگر ما رو تهدید بکنن ما از اون حقوق انسانی و حق مسلم خودمون پاپس خواهیم کشید. ما پاپس نمیکشیم. ما دستاوردهای پر افتخار نظامی رو، دانشگاهی رو، علمی رو، هسته‌ای رو در تمام جنبه‌ها به این سادگی از دست نخواهیم داد. به هیچ سادگی از دست نخواهیم زد.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to urge you to take a moment to pray for the 58 hostages in Hamas captivity, in addition to the IDF troops operating in the Gaza Strip, and for the peace of Jerusalem. Separately, if you've been blessed by TV7 Israel, which is exclusively funded by our viewers, please consider supporting our productions with a donation. You can do so at our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and we'll see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.